Good evening, everybody. This is just a little tester here. Make sure we got it working. Can anybody hear me? No? Okay, this thing is not working out quite right. I don't think. There we go. There we go. All right. Getting a little bit better. At least I didn't totally mess up. Put this on the screen here. So how is everybody? Everybody doing good tonight? Let me take a look here. I had to borrow the wife's iPad or tablet, whatever this thing's called. So, hey Michael, thanks for stopping by. Local, hey, how's it going? Homegrown? Nice to see you, buddy. Galaxy with bells on, eh? Nice. That's who else here. Hey Michael, we can hear you. All right. Let's see here. Okay. So a little early, I didn't know how to get this thing to auto start. So I'll figure that out next week or something. But anyway, so we're a few minutes early here. No big deal. So what we're going to go over today, all right, you can see me. What we're going to go over today is the pressing, the heat, how to figure out how much do we want to press, what should we press. Okay, so where we would start is first is just a basic understanding of this machine here. Let's get it a little bit closer here for you. Yeah, I guess that's pretty good. So obviously you have two plates on a press. They come together and they squish. And people are like, well, how much do we supposed to squish? Okay, so there is formulas and stuff, but I just go, depends on what you're doing. So flour is in between 400 and 500 pounds per square inch. So that means what? And then rosin, 800 to 1,000. These are just ballpark numbers. You can kind of figure out what you want. Heat changes it a little bit as we will get, and later on I've made up a couple packages to show you the difference between a hot and fast and a cold and slow. So anyways, getting back to the pressure. Okay, so most people have a gauge on their press. Usually. And if you don't, well, you can kind of figure it out. This gives you a number. And you don't have to worry about anything other than that number divided by how big. And don't get your plates mixed up. If you put something in there, 2 square, like 2 inches by 2 inches, okay, that's 4 square inches. Okay, so just make it simple. We're going to put 1,000 pounds of pressure on it. We are not going to be putting 1,000 pounds of pressure on this. Okay, that's just how much energy you have, like 110 volt. Your watts are a little bit different. So here, I'm just going to use this one because it's nice for an example. This is 2 inches by 2 inches. Okay, so that's 4 square inches. Correct? Understand that, right? So you have 1,000 pounds divided by pounds per square inch. So square inch, square inch, square inch, square inch. So 1,000 divided by 4 means if I put 1,000 pounds, bring this up to 1,000 pounds, I'm going to be squishing at 250 pounds per square inch. Because your pressure coming out is divided by how wide your surface is. Does that make any sense? If you were going to do 100 square inches and you have 1,000, your pressure on whatever you're pressing is only going to be 10. It's pretty much 10 psi. You know, it's why they put big tracks on machines and stuff to spread out the weight. Anyways, that's not really about pressing rosin. So all you got to figure out is, okay, my weed is in between 4 and 500 psi. I have 2 by 2 bag, 3 by 1 bag, 1 inch circle, whatever you are. You can simply figure out the square, how many square inches it has, or if it's less, and then you divide by that. Excuse me. So, for this one example, I want to squish in between 4 and 500. Say 500 is your max. So, 250, 1,000, so 2,000 divided by 4. Or you can go, I want 500, I got 4 square inches. 500 times 4, 2,000, or 2,000, 4 square inches divided by 4 equals your 500 psi. So when I do this bag, I'm not going to be jacking this thing up to 8,000 psi. Okay? That's when I was doing those big bags last week. You need that much juice. And if you had a 4 by 7 jaw, you know, that's 28, you know, you're going to be up into 10, 12,000. And that's why I've got this ram that can go all the way up to 14,000 psi. You still, if you're squishing a big bag, you need all that power because it's divided by many square inches. So that's how we figure out our pressing, how we figure out our numbers. Now with a jack or no gauge, there's two things. You got to just kind of use a little bit of your imagination. If you're going to squish some really dry, old, hard bud, you should know it's hard. You know, it's going to take some power to flatten that. If you put in green material or wet bud, it is not going to take many pounds to just squish that flat. Okay? So you have a little bit of understanding, and that's why people, 99% of the time use a bag. They compress all their extract in there. Your flour in there, and work with that, and it keeps it contained. But wet flour will press a little easier than dry flour, just for the simple fact that you've got one hard item and one soft item. Let's take a look here and see who's joined. Anybody? Okay. Hey man, thanks for stopping by, Michael. No problem. Hope this is not too hard for you guys. It's pretty easy. And that's just all you got to really think about is how much you're squishing and how much power you need to get a complete press. So going on here, let's see, what should I cover next? So we've got our pieces here. The next step is, okay, I kind of covered that wet or dry weed, right? They say 9 days dry, you want some moisture. You don't want to just press a whole bunch of dry flour, or not dry flour, like dry leaves. What else could I say? And a nice hard bud is better to press than a bunch of loose little buds. Once again, that goes back to the bag. You keep everything together in a tight ball. It squishes better. It gives you a more oily, what you're trying to do is get more weed into a smaller area and then compress it so you are not swishing the plates together when you get to your 500. You still got some meat there that you can squeeze, and it's just simply like wringing out a rag. So if you try to wring out a loose rag, it doesn't work. We usually fold it in half, roll it up, and then twist it, right? And we get lots of water out. It's exactly the same with your weed. I also have one in here. I just have just a flower. I had one bud. It came out at 1.2 grams, and I have over here like 4 littler buds that I tried to mush together a little bit. But that'll just be to show that when it's more spread out, it's a lot easier to pretty much collect nothing because you've got all this surface area. So you have to increase your pressure, number one, whereas in a little spot you can keep lower and everything more focused. And when it's loose, you'll get little, like where each little bud is, you'll get a tiny little bit of oil in here, and here, and here, and here, and then you'll have a whole bunch of particles, unless you're using a bag. And that's another reason why you can use a bag. Now, you got a big 4-gram bud, I would have no problem, and I've done it, just putting it in a paper envelope, shove her in there, mush the ends in a bit, kind of keep it a bit tight, and squish it. And you'd be surprised how well that actually works. But I don't do it with a super dry bud. I like to keep my bud quite moist, not dry, crumbly. Like you can't crumble it up to put it in a joint. You have to cut it. That's my texture that I like to smoke. And I found that also that pretty much works the best in a press as well. So knowing that, now we're like, okay, well, what do we do next? So the next step is temperature. This is a very important one. And this is quite strain dependent to a point. I don't know quite how to say it. It's not a percentage. You can't just say this weed needs, you have to kind of feel it. Some weed doesn't like to let go, I'll use my other one as example. So some like a cooler temperature because it's easier to collect the rosin, you get less impurities, it stays more consistent at certain temperatures. And as I found, it stays really good at 160, collects very well, very clean, like extremely clean, very light amber. Get up to 190, you get twice as much because it's all in there to begin with, but as it gets hotter, once again, you're getting into that, you're getting everything wet and you can squish it more, so you can squish more out of it. But like 170 is where they start carbing THC. When you start getting over that, I don't know, it still all works good, but it's supposed to be degrading it, and it's getting darker, it's kind of cooking, it's caramelizing, but you're getting a lot more. And to be straight up with you, I don't notice, and maybe these are just my 2 different strains, I don't notice a lot of flavor difference in 30 degrees, but I do notice a lot of color change. And they both get you just ripped. So you really got to say, like, you only got an ounce of bud. Are you going to do it really slow and cold and get the best out of it? Because you might only get 10% return. Where if you got a little bit of weed and you're like, I need to just get blazed, we're going to jack it up to 180, 190, press it fast, voila, you've got, 15-20% return. Depends on how much you put in is how much you get out, of course, right? Just gonna take a little check here at the chat. Waiting for humidity packs? Is that, yeah, I don't use those. I've thought about using them. I just feel it. It's, it's what it is, right? What's this, Michael? You say, hell yeah, homegrown. You should. So anyways, okay, so we've got the temperature down now, and that's the range. Now, some people, 200, I had an accident the other day there. I was at about 200, and I've pressed as low as, I think one of my trials was 140. That was 18 grams of weed, and I only got about I think it was 1.4 grams of return. I went back and I warmed it up and I repressed it. It looked like crap, but you get twice as much, right? If you got lots of weed, what does it matter, right? So anyways, what are we at here for time? I should check that. Sorry, excuse me guys. We have a bonfire that I gotta go to after this. Oh shit. Only been 9 minutes. Okay, good. Okay, so we've got the temperature down, and we know our pressures, and our other one was the timing. So timing is, you can run a timer, but if you don't get your pressure right and your temperature right, your timing can't be on a timer, okay? It doesn't work on a timer. If you're 10 degrees cooler, that stuff's gonna flow, it's gonna take another 20 seconds to come out. So your minute 30 is no longer valid. So I started trying to use a timer just to see if it was better, and you know what? You can't program on short amounts. If I was doing the same batch, doing the same 20 gram bag, 20 gram bag, 20 gram bag, I'm gonna do this for the next, half a day because I've got a pound that I wanna rosin up. Okay, my first one, it's gonna take 7 minutes to get done. Okay, and then you can settle the rest and you don't have to work. But I always have a light, and you watch the flow. You literally watch your resin come out, and you can see when it's done. That's why I like bigger amounts. Now for these small 1.2 grams, 3.5 grams, we're not going to get no flow. We're not going to get no drip. So you're like, okay, well, how are we going to get done? How do we know how long we pressed it for? I find even with a good jack, you can feel it squishing. Okay, it starts out, I'm going to exaggerate. Fully compressed, it's like this, right? You start bringing it up to a couple hundred PSI, it's like that. Go a little more, it's kind of like that. You'll feel whatever bud you have, you will feel a difference between you before you get to your 500 PSI. Small, it might feel at 400, you're gonna feel that it's not squishing anymore. You can kind of feel it. That's why I like the Porta Power. You can feel when it stops moving. So in here, when these little ones are gonna be in here, I'm gonna bring it up to, 350, 400 PSI, and I bet you I'll feel that it's done, right? Like it's done. You can wait a little bit longer, but under whatever heat you're using, if you wait too long, it will all color. So you have to just you feel it. Okay, I'm up to where I am. I don't feel any more give, I guess is the word I'm saying. Wait a little bit and then you're done. You've already got to the max, and everything is kind of pushed out. There's kind of a limit where stuff is. That's why, like, I cranked it right up, and when I didn't get any more at about 450 or 500 or so than like 900. I think I got it up close to 900 psi on the next bag, and they still produced the same because it was the same temperature, same weed. It just, that's, once you get to that threshold, you kind of can't do anymore. So I guess you could actually use that as just your gauge, like I said earlier, and kind of there, leave it for your minute and a half, because you'll get a feel for how long it takes for something to warm up. Excuse me. So yeah, there we are. That's pretty much covering that. It's pretty basic. And I know I'm not telling you exact numbers because none of this stuff is really exact numbers. I'm just trying to give you the idea of the feel that you kind of have. And pushing a little bud, you know, we can practice on 4 or 5 buds, and you can literally just time it. Say, okay, I'm going to bring it up to, you know, it's about that big. It's 400. If you don't know how big it is, you can squish one first. And then 2 things, you can see how wide yours is, where you're bottoming out at your feel, right? Like, and then you can take it out afterwards and measure and say, oh yeah, see, I was pretty close to the numbers that they were. Or, okay, that feel wasn't really good. I need to give it more. Now, none of this advice really works for the ones that have the jack with the no pressure, but those, you just squish, you just watch the video, man. You'll get some oil, of course, as long as you are applying the right amount of force. And whatever jack you have, it'll probably say how much force it has. So you kind of say, okay, I'm going to be doing, 2x4 areas. So that's 8 square inches, probably a jack. You're probably going to max out like I'd have to do the numbers, but say a 5-ton jack, which is most of them, they're already designed. So you jack that thing until you can't jack it anymore. And that's pretty much their calibrated size to the proper press that you have. As long as it's like just for flour, right? If you've got a really heavy duty one for rosin, you can really squish your flour. But once again, as long as your flour is not extremely soft, like if I went out and got some live plant tissue and put it in here, you know what would happen? It would just become one of the paper. It would just, because these jaws are pretty flat. I draw filed them, so it would just mush that thing into nothing. And even if you rolled it up, it would still, that plant just kind of liquefies and just everywhere. So you got to take that into consideration too. But anyways, I'm sure you guys are waiting to see something to get squished. So we're going to try the small pieces. Now there was a question that I brought to myself, and I was like, this might be quite important. What kind of weed should we have? Like, can we press really dry bud? And I got some, so this stuff here has been sitting outside for a week, just room temperature. It's pretty crispy. I got a nice bud. I'm not sure if that's going to be a good idea. And then over here, I got the same thing, 3 little buds. But this stuff just came out of the out of the freezer a few hours ago. So if you feel it, like even the little bits of trim off it, they're not brittle. You can bend them and roll them kind of. So this one, I have a feeling is going to press better than the old dry 1 chunk nug. So this is a bit of an experiment for me as well. Now this one here, so unfortunately we're on YouTube, so I don't really want to show this bud, but let's see, it's a quick one. It's just like that. It's about, 1.2 grams, probably about as big as my thumb there. And as you can see, Just touching it, see, it just turns into dust. Okay. Now, so we look at that, and that's just over an inch around, about that big. So that's close to a square inch. So this will only go up to about 500-600 there, and that's all you'll need. So first of all, we're going to try this at, oh god, sorry, I turn the press on. Still haven't got it fixed to a switch. I've been real busy lately. I'm going to set my temperature for, see, we'll do these. What do you think? We should do these at the hot temperature because they're smaller amounts. And then we'll do this one over here on the cooler. They're the same amount, and other than one being a little denser, I believe, actually, let's do the better one at a cooler temperature and do the one that I don't think is going to do so well. We can compensate, you see, and do this one hotter. So hopefully we can get it warm, and maybe there's a little bit of moisture. It'll steam and keep it more together so we can press it better. Just to try. So we're going to set for let's go 150. Okay, 150, yeah. That should give you a good guesstimate of how much you get. There we go. We got to let them heat up. And excuse me for a second while I have a sip. Take a look at the chat here. That's weird. I shouldn't get that in there. There we go. Your son has a 20-ton press. He can press a lot at once. His plates are the largest Dab Express makes. So that would be, I believe they're 4x7. Yeah, you can really press with those. But like I said, that's 32, 4x7 is 32. Let's just figure that out quickly because I haven't run something that big. That's, sorry, I need a calculator. I can't do that shit in my head anymore. So we're going to go 32 times 500. Means you're going to need 16,000 PSI just for your flour, right? And that's 6 ton. So 2,000 pounds per ton, right? So that's for flour. Now you need to double that if you're going to do some rosin. That's 32,000 pounds of energy you're going to need. So you're up at what is that divided by 2? Oh, yeah, divided by 2. Shit, I'm too stoned. Yeah, that's 16 ton. Right? 16 tons. So like this here just has enough for the plates for flour. I would have to do the smaller resin bags for bubble hash if I was going to, because it wouldn't generate enough squish. What, you know nothing about pressing? Sorry about that. Up. Shit. Okay, yeah. Sorry, the heart thing's covering your letters there. Okay, I'll figure that out later. Okay, so we are getting warm. We're gonna wait till it balances. It's reached its peak. So we're gonna do this one here last. And we're gonna do this one here first. But this would be pretty easy to upgrade. You just get the right size porta power. They come in here and you just have a bigger pump. So this here is not in tea bag at all. this is just plain Jane. Say that you just want to hit right away, and you're like, I gotta get a hit. I don't have time. I don't have no bags. I didn't wait for Amazon. I don't recommend doing this, but as you can see, it will work. But you'll be also picking bits of flour out of your rosin too, right? So, cheers to ya. Okay, so I always let it warm up a bit. I don't know if I already covered that over in another video. I don't think so, but so you let it warm up for about a minute, and that's just to warm it up. Okay, we're gonna bring it up. Now remember, this is just loose, so you need to get it even, down to where it's dense, because right now the center of that bud is not warm at all. So squish it to about halfway of its volume. Now you can watch in here. I know you guys can't probably see that from there, but you have to trust me. You can move it around, it's still good. And you can squish it down to where you feel that it's close, and you can watch it. Right now this stuff's the wetter stuff. So as I'm squishing it, it's not even going out the sides at all yet. Get it down there. I always get it down there, like 1/8 of an inch or so. You want this stuff, squished more than you could squish it with your fingers. So pretty much until you start actually getting some measurement on the gauge. Okay, you can start feeling, hearing your paper crinkle, like stuff's getting tight. Okay, so wait a little bit longer. Okay, I can feel it on there. You're not going to be able to see much anymore because the bud almost goes probably cracker thin, I would say. Okay, so now I can feel, I'm putting pressure. We're at a low heat, so we're not gonna rush it. We're just gonna wait. And this is the timing part. So this will become from practice, but every minute, every 100 PSI kind of thing, you can get a feel for it. I can just feel it, like, okay, it's tight there, but I'll wait 30 seconds so as it's getting hot and the oil is starting to come out of it. You'll go back over here and you'll be like, oh yeah, you might even see them move a little bit and close up. Okay, we're only about 300. There, we won't be getting any drips off any of this here. So. Okay, there we go. Okay, there, see? I'm at just over 5, maybe 6 now. Eric's really kind of gotta really give it, right? So it's right down there. That bud is now probably 4 or 5 times thicker than this paper. But you can still see that there's a gap, like fingernail. My fingernail still sticks through there. So all that matter just turned into, 1/100th of the size it was. And if in doubt, give it a little more. This is overkill. I can bring it up a little more, probably the 600-700. It feels pretty hard. And I don't think we've gone long enough. It just doesn't feel like it. But we can try it there. So that was almost 3 minutes. Let it sit. Maybe give it another one. Yeah, see, you don't feel it. There's no looseness in it. It's there. Nothing has got out of its way. It's still just there. And you can back it off. And you will see why we don't like to do just small amounts. Okay, let's get her in here and show you. Get close with this. Probably hard to see, but you can see it came out all the little crevices. We got a chunk up there. Now I did something here. This was another test creation. I got all these pieces of paper at about 0.1 grams. To figure out how much came out of these, this is 1.2 grams, right? This should be less than 1.2 grams. So see how thin that is here? Paper thin. That's why sometimes if we don't use a big enough piece, you can just squish this thing to wherever, and you got little bits of rosin right on that edge, right? Put it on there. Bring this on. Put my paper on here. Zero it. Okay, 1.1. So what came out of that was 0.1 of a gram, and that's as sensitive as my scale can go. So we removed 0.1 from 1.2 at the low temperature. Now we're going to try a much hotter temperature. And we'll show you the papers afterwards. Good thing about working about small amounts like this, it's nowhere near as messy. What's going on here? Oh, I'm already open. What am I doing here? Confused. Okay, same thing. Put it right in the center. We really covered all that last time. This is why I like that bag setup, like I was talking about last week. If these are little bags, you can just keep pumping them. And just pre-make all your little envelopes and just press away. But I would not press. Like when I found the best amount to press is 7 to 10 grams. It's the best return. It seemed to work really good. But I also, the 18 and 20 gram bags, the big ones, they also produce pretty good, 13% or so. And then I hit 90% when I was over 190 degrees, but shit was pretty dark. And what's good about this is once you get going, you're already at your temperature, so you know everything starts getting nice and even. So this is where you can just kind of, if you have a whole bunch, you can just start going. Especially if it's all the same, just collect it on here. Have your other one here and just keep dripping them off. So, same thing like before. Just keep looking at it. You know, surprisingly, this one's not really shattering apart either. It's just kind of compressing. Just go slow. Just don't try to just all at once, right? Bring it up, bring it up, bring it up. Until you feel that it's doing something, which is not yet. Let it warm up a bit. Before I guess you'd never have to worry about a blowout on these, but what I have, if I crank it too fast and everything is not heated up, it actually just ripped the paper. Like a piece of stem will go in there and it, because you're just pressing it, right? So if it has to move. There we go. Okay, there. It's now taking some force to squish it, which means you know it's together. And Actually got a pretty big gap between. It actually stayed together quite well. That bud, because it's pretty dense bud, like it is actually very nice bud to smoke or anything. It's pretty good. Hey local, how's it going? Forgot I was waiting for this. Uh-oh. I got kind of watching long form interview, yeah. Which was really, with growing old. Okay, good to see more press action. Mine sitting there afraid to go again. Oh, don't be afraid. That's how you have fun. And it's pretty easy. Especially once you start getting smoking. And once you've done it a few times, you'll be like, oh, that works better than that time. Oh, that works really good. From what you said, you just need to just squish it harder, was my idea. So anyways, there we go. This one we're going to do a little hotter. I just about forgot. Oh my God. And when you're dealing with heat, see, that's okay. Now, if we were going the other way, we started hot and cool down, we would have just screwed up. But if you're low and you want to go hot, well, that's okay because there we go. Sorry about that. I almost screwed that up. I found it can sit there at 400 degrees, or 400 degrees, at your pressure for 4 or 5 minutes. And if you change it, it starts getting hotter. But if you started with the hot temperature, you don't want to stay very long. But at the low temperatures, like 160, 150, like what we're at there, I've walked away and done things and come back. It's still just as amber. There's no flavor difference. Nothing. I'm pretty sure you probably wouldn't want to leave it in there forever. It'll still decarb itself, I think, even at that low temperature. I'm not sure. Okay, we're climbing. We're just going to wait till it peaks and then we're going to squish it. So this will probably come close to 200. Just the plates, my sensor and stuff, everything's got to kind of warm up. And when you jump big differences, it kind of jumps past and then comes back and it kind of gets to about a 9-degree float. Wasn't there a beard? Where'd he go? I'm opposite of November, eh? So in November, instead of growing one, I'm starting to grow a new one. And next year, you'll see it all bush again. Okay, there we're at it. We're at our temps. Okay, now we're going to switch. And you're going to, now that you're hot, like I can feel, this is just like butter. I'm already, 500 probably right there. And I can still push it more. Like I don't want to give it too much. Because oh yeah, see, look at that. Shit, we actually got a bubble from that. Okay, watch the camera here. I'm actually surprised. Wow, this is amazing actually. Oh shit, sorry guys. Trying to do this with one hand. There we go. Can you see it? Hey, can you see the little bubbles in there? But see how the bubbles are pretty much stopped already? It's done. Yeah. It does not take long when you're up in those temperatures. Okay, I gotta put you back on here. Okay, there we go. Okie dokie, let's get this out of here. Look at that, it ran right up to the front. Okay. About the same thickness. Definitely a lot warmer. Okay, we're going to measure this one out. So the last one that the cold temperature gave us about 0.1. I didn't zero that, did I? 0.9. I almost find that hard to believe. 0.3 came out of that. Wow. But you can visually see the difference. Visually see the difference. Okay, this one is sticky. It is stuck together. Okay, we've got two collections right here where it dripped. See? We also got a couple up here. Okay, and that's only a difference of 40 degrees. And as you can see, it's a little darker. So it probably shows up in the camera much better. Trying to watch the relay here. Yeah, fuck, that sucks, eh? Can't see shit. Yeah, there you go. You kind of see it there a little bit. Okay. So that's at your warmer temperatures. And now you look at this one. Broke apart a little bit. It's going to be a bit hard for you to see. But this stuff is almost clear. Okay. And as you can see, it's clear here too. It is quite clear. Where this is a lot more. And as you see, weighing the puck, 0.2 of a gram, a little more. Okay, so we're going to keep this one. What's this one? This is the dry stuff. And this is the wet stuff. Okay, so now, we think, okay, so hot is better. Everybody agree? These people that get really stingy, when you got a pound of weed and you want only the best, go slow, go low, get your juice, love it. But if you are like, you want to see the drip, you want to see it run, you want that glory of that big hash rosin dripping down, stay under 200, 190 or so, usually with weed. Now you have to experiment with your own weeds of what it'll produce at acceptable level, and you can just try, go 10 and then go 20. So, start low, do a 50, do a 70, do a 90, do a 210. Don't go over 210. Don't even go 210. But maybe there's some reasons why. That's what I did. And then I just was like, oh, right in between the 170 and the 190. And then so I tried 180. And then with the heat, it still wasn't quite nice. So I went 190. It kind of peaks up at 200. It comes back down. It kind of bounces in there. And as you've seen, the amount difference is perfecto. And I think, what is that? That's almost 20%. That's saying like, hey, this is good weed. So when someone says, I got 20%, I bet you if you put this at 240 degrees, you could probably get even more out of it. I should try, but I'm a little leery to be just that reckless. It just wrecks it. So it doesn't taste very good. Well, it doesn't. It's not that. Sorry. I back up here. It just doesn't look very good. And when you butter it up 3 or 4 days later, it never gets that clear. And that'll be another video down the line of stirring these up and fluffing it up, butterizing it, whatever the word is called. So we're gonna run these two. Both of these here are 3.5 grams. We've got the frozen stuff and the old dry stuff. We got it in a 32 micron 2x4 bag, packed in there tightly, folded over. And now we'll see which one gives us more, the really dry stuff or the wet stuff. And sometimes it wants to be a prick, and you kind of got to hold it in there. I'm kind of picky, I guess. You know, sometimes I think, do I really need it just perfect? You really you're just squishing the shit out of it, right? So as long as it's not sticking over your plate, it's probably okay. But I get all anal and I gotta make it square, and it's an OCD problem. That is what it is, I guess. So same thing, bring it up. See, it's jacking it. It's squishing right now, but it's not doing nothing. Okay, there, I feel something. We'll let it warm up for a minute. Now, you know, there's a lot of, you can see the ends of these. See how they're quite sticky. There's actually quite a bit of rosin. And I put this, just rip these corners off and put them in a pipe to smoke it. You can. I wouldn't do it again, but that's me. So I just throw these out straight into the garbage. Now let's take a look at the chat here. Scully, hey, thanks for stopping by. Blah. You like watching this? Yeah, I like doing it too. I don't know if you saw my other video there of it dripping out. What was it, 23 grams or something? I can't remember. And I watched that, editing that video. You know, if you're a content creator, you know you edit a lot. Watching that drip, I just never got boring. Got bored of everything else because it's your own video, but watching that drip come down, I watched it, I don't know, 20, 30 times. So here's where you start to get nervous. Why? Using those packs. Let it warm up. Just let it warm up. Just don't try to squish it. I just bring it down to where it's, so this one was about that thick. I bring it down to about there. You can just feel when it's just, there's something going to start, like you can feel that you're squishing. Then you stop. Let it get warm. And I haven't had a blowout since my first try. You know, but because you just bring it to where the machine feels that it's squishing. It's going to squish a lot, right? It's going to go there, and then it's like, okay, now I'm squishing. That's just when you let it warm up. Good, like, you know. Yeah, see, and then when you start giving it, you can actually feel that it's soft now. See, when I brought it up, I could feel that there was something there. When I just touch this, see, like it doesn't take much. I know I'm hot now. Oh, we forgot to figure out how much are we squishing this to? This is 2 square, so 2 times 5, 2,000 PSI. So we're going to be coming right up into the right up there. Yeah, that you can feel. So there, I felt it. Then I let it get warm. I had to jack it that many more times before I feel it again. And now I feel like 100 PSI, a couple hundred. This will probably only be a 3-minute squish. And now this is where, pardon my butt, I like to have a little tip on my press, so I have a little knobby thing there. I didn't put legs or nothing, but I just put a little knobby under there. It's 1 inch, it just tips it over. Because, you know what? Gravity's good to have as a friend. So there we are. Right on. 2,000, and it's getting hard now. It didn't take much to get it to 2,000, but now 2,000's there. So you know you're putting that full force on that bag. Yeah, shit. We've got coming out. Shitty, I didn't think this was, didn't quite make a big enough bag. Yeah, it's going. That's okay. That is fine. I'm going to let it come out. Yeah, see, we're there. And I think we're good. Maybe a little more. Yeah, no, it's there. but it's going to drip here, see? Oh, maybe not. Maybe not quite enough. That's only 3.5 grams. You got to remember that bag. That's why I don't squish. You're not going to see, this is all the same pretty much, but you're not going to see a big difference because I found with those bags in 3.5 to 7 grams, using that bag, it absorbs about 0.5 gram of extract. So you gotta overcome that 0.5 gram loss you're gonna get because it goes all in. Where on the paper there is nothing taking your rosin, where the bag is absorbing, right? Yeah, we're still there. 2000. It's hard. So we're done. We almost got a drip. See? I'm watching my replay and it's got about a second delay or maybe even more than a second delay. So if I want to see if it works really good, I got to wait for the pause. Now you can see it is everywhere. Got quite a bit. Now I wrote down what this bag was pre-squish. I forgot to mention that to you. Not trying to mess with you here or anything. This is supposed to be, when it was full, it was 4.3 grams. So let's see how much it is now. I just came up with this way too. Instead of sitting here dabbing for you like for 90 minutes and then collecting it and going, oh, I got 0.2 of a gram, guys, see? Just reverse way, and I think it works really good. 3.8. So 4.3 to 3.8, 0.5 gram. This is a 0.5 gram lighter. But now this is where I wish I could show you why I don't like using small bags and small amounts. So just bear with me here. Oh yeah, there, see all that yellow in the bag? See how it's nice and white over here? See how it's pretty good in the center? But see how all the way around? We don't know, maybe 0.3, 0.4 of a gram all in there. You can see a lot right there along that edge. Little puddle there. Bit right there. See that? Not very much in that corner at all, actually. And a little bit down here along the edge. That's why I don't like doing small amounts in baggies like that. That's exactly the reason why. Probably lost 0.5 gram. Now, see, I didn't blow that out or anything. So what I do is I just take that, like after I'm done offline here, I'll take my bag. I just turn it inside out, take the wheat, throw it away. Put it in a mason jar of ISO, and I clean that out. And if you want to make RSO, there you go. Not me, I hate RSO. The smell of the fumes and everything. This is what I like. And just put her into a big old doober and just go to bed after. Now I don't do that in the morning because I can't function then. Okay, so this is the same one. Now, as you can see, and I forgot to mention last week in our videos, I like to put the fold up. I've seen people put the fold down. Figure out whatever way you like. I don't think it's written in stone and it has to be one way or the other. My idea of putting it to the top is gravity goes down, so hopefully less is going into the bag and coming out the bottom, because that top of the bag there, that's would be 1, 2, right? Because the bag's flat, and then fold it over. So that's three layers of bag on the top,
and only one layer in the bottom. So you're kind of hoping that, you know, compressing, pushing out at the bottom, right?
Yeah, this one doesn't want to stay there either.
I've seen some presses have really taken an interest in pressing. These ones that you just put it in there and you time it and it starts going, like, what if you had your finger in there? Holy moly.
Just a little bit of blood in your rosin. Okay, so we'll squish this one up there.
So like, as you can feel, I'm just, there's nothing there, there's nothing there, nothing there, nothing. Oh, there's something. Let it warm up a bit, look at the chat.
Okay.
Skeptical on questioning those tea bags, eh? Because of that, I went with just paper the last press I did. Yeah, you probably liked it. I'm just gonna say, let's see what's just say next. When I did use a bag, I used a tool to push it down into the corners, yeah. And I pulled it as tight as I could to make sure there was no space between the weed and the bag. Still like the paper better. Yeah, you know, there is nothing wrong with the paper, especially if you're doing smaller amounts. It's kind of the way to go. The only problem, what I don't like is a few things. Like this one here, I don't know how. Oh, no, there it is. There's one little piece of impurity. Right? And it depends on your flour. Where's the other one? The impurity here. Yeah, see this one got a leaf there. And 1, 2, 3, 4. It also ripped the bag just, yeah, it did put a little hole in it. But hey, we're smoking it. Like, I guess if you were selling it, you'd want it to be perfect, but you're not running it through, like, you're just smoking it, man. It's just weed. So much better for you than smoking that whole bud, right? Okay, so once again, now I'm not feeling anything. It's now going to where it's thin. Okay, there, oh, there I'm feeling it again. So there, that much. That's, I think, the technique is not to get a blowout. Never feel like you're forcing it. Ever. As soon as you feel that, like, oh, I'm squishing something. Okay, let it get warm. Right? Yeah, see, I'm squishing something now. Now I can feel it. We'll put 100 PSI on it because we know, you know, a couple minutes has already gone by. My gauges is sitting at 198, 199. They're coming down, cooling off. So like I said, we're just pushing right. It peaks up about close to 2 and then comes back down to 90. Excuse me. And now we're going to go to our 2000 PSI. That was weird. There was no pressure and then it went right to 2000. My gauge got stuck. Huh, interesting. I didn't drop that thing or something. Looks like I bent it. Okay, from up there. I can see it coming out here. With that much you'll see, like I can see it. And I did see a bubble. Oh, I saw another bubble. So you know when you're done, when you're doing bigger mounts, in many videos I say, when it stops, you know, making little bubbles, you know you're there. See this one here, I don't think it's doing anymore. I give it a little, yeah, it's still there. Yeah, it's still there. I think we're there. That's it. I don't know, I didn't time that one 100%, but it didn't take that long. And since that's our last run, we can take it right out. The last one, I actually squished it out onto the paper. Sign of coughing too much, talking too much. So we got oil all over there, which is good. And what have we got inside? Good stuff here too. There we go. Take your bag, same thing. If you're careful and got a good swish bag, it's not very sticky. But yeah, see this one here just filled all up to corner. Pretty good squish though. Okay, let's see what we got out of that one. Last one was a 1/2 gram. This one, better turn the scale on first. 3.8. Yeah, I knew it. Exactly the same. It doesn't matter your weed, it's just your weed is your preference. Just don't make sure it's not too wet. But if it's been sitting out for a week, now maybe this would be longer if it was like super dry left out for like forever. But the question is can I take it right out of the freezer and use it, or should I let it sit for a week? Just don't press it while it's frozen. Just let it warm up. It's just easier. It just won't take as long for it to squish. But there you go. You see, there is no difference between super dry weed and nice damp weed. It's just exact same amount comes out of your exact same weed and the exact same temperature. So everything is exactly the same. So there we are. Now, I did these small amounts because I just wanted a little bit of change. I gave away my big jar because Buddy uses it a lot more than me. Oh, and exactly 1 hour. So there we go. Hopefully we all learned something. And you guys have a good day. Thank you all for coming. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks, Local, Scully. I Grow Weed. Hey, buddy. I didn't see you pop in there. Who else do we have here? Oh shit, I missed this. I didn't use this. Yeah, nothing wrong with doing small amounts. Don't want to waste a whole bunch. It's not really a waste, but I don't think after you pressed it, you'd want to cut it up and smoke it or anything. That would be kind of gross. Sorry, just reading the chat here. I don't want to be rude and miss any questions or anything. I Grow Weed. I was behind in the live. My bad. Watch the reverse weight trick. Yeah. No problem. It's there. You can rewind it. Just skip it if you want and just watch what you need. So it'll be there. It'll take a while. YouTube, these are my first lives, so they won't authorize this to go out until probably middle of the night sometime. All right, guys. You betcha. You have a good night and have a wonderful Sunday. Later, guys. Bye-bye. I'll figure out